Hello, everybody. How are we doing today? Give me a big thumbs up in the chat if you can hear me loud and clear. How are we doing? How are we doing? Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen. So, I got a hello from the central coast of California. I got a hello from South Carolina. I got a good afternoon from New York City and Connecticut. So, guys, give me that big thumbs up if you can hear me. I want to know that you can hear me in the chat. And remember, I also want to know if I have anybody new to the chat. So here's what I'm going to tell you guys. You guys have a job, because what I'm going to tell you is this. We are on the Agent School's YouTube channel. So remember, what you got to do on the Agent School is you got to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. And you also got to share this out with anyone that you know that is in the real estate business, is in the real estate biz. Get them into this, because this is for them. This is where I chat with you guys about the stuff that happens after you pass the exam, okay? But guess what? We have a fun time. We have a good time. So if you haven't passed the exam yet, don't feel like this is not for you, okay? Don't feel like this is not for you, because what we're going to be doing is we're going to be talking about a whole bunch of different things, okay? And today I had a really special treat for you guys, okay? So what I want to ask you guys is this. I want to ask you guys in the chat. So I want you to communicate with me. I want to make sure that you get what we're going to be doing today. So it says you're having a fireside chat with Stu. So some places in the country might be a little warmer than others, okay? So what I will tell you is this. The chat is going to be around the 2020 NAR profile of home buyers and sellers. Whew! What is this? What is this thing? Well, if you actually just go to Google and you type in NAR home buyers profile, you could actually see NAR puts out this really beautiful, wonderful, fantastic presentation every year. It's chef's kiss. Mwah! About what's going on in the industry. Because listen to this. I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to let you in on a little secret. Those of you in the chat might think Stu knows everything. And here's the thing. I do know a lot of things. I don't know how to make a turducken, but I could watch a YouTube video on that. I'm sure I could. What I'll tell you is this. There's a lot of information in here that I think is absolutely fantastic for you guys to take a peek at. And what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to talk to you guys about some of the findings in this. So I'm looking at the highlights of this, kind of like the stuff that you probably don't even realize is out there. So here's the thing, too. I want to make sure that you also realize there's a ton of resources for you at NAR's site. There's a ton of resources for you so that you can get educated, because here's the thing. When you guys are newly licensed, okay, one of the hardest things for agents to do is they're like, Stu, why should buyers and sellers, okay, why should buyers and sellers work with me? I'm a newbie. I just came out of the Stu Crew. I'm Stu Crew certified, but after I'm Stu Crew certified, I'm basically, licensed. And then why would someone want to work with me? Well, one of the ways that you make people want to work with you is you get a whole boatload of knowledge, okay? You get a whole lot of knowledge. You put that into your noggin noodle, okay? And you arm yourself with amazing, amazing statistics and information that they might not get elsewhere. And guess what? Studying and learning and understanding this is a super powerful way to really boost your business. And also, too, what I love doing, okay? So for those of you, listen to this. We're going to actually combine two webinars together, okay? You remember when I did the Canva webinar in the Agent School YouTube? Guess what? If you don't remember that, go back, check it out. It's an amazing webinar. I teach you how to do the marketing goodies for how to create flyers, how to create thumbnails, how to create a whole bunch of different things. So what I love doing is taking little snippets here of information and then turning it into a flyer, turning it into a Facebook post, turning it into an Instagram post, okay? Because guess what, okay? Bottom line is this. when you start getting, because here's the thing on social media, do you know what's amazing? Do you know what's the most important thing? Okay. And here's what I'm going to ask you guys to do. You ready? I'm going to ask you to give me a thumbs up when you hear this and you go, oh man, that's the key to everything. The key to social media, the key to your business, the key to your networking is getting engagement. So that's why, here's the thing. When I come on here and I talk to you guys and we come into the webinars, I talk to you guys and I say, hey, how's everyone doing? Give me that thumbs up. Give me that smile because I want to see you guys engaged. I want to see you interacting with me because otherwise I'm just sitting here spewing out things. So like I said, I want to give me a thumbs up for that. And let me know that was an amazing, amazing little tip that I gave you there because you want to get engagement. So what happens is this. When this comes out, and this usually comes out at the beginning of the year for the prior year, okay? For the prior year, what I do is I basically plan out my whole entire month, okay? Like I'll plan out actually 2 months of social media posts with little different blurbs in here and all that kind of jazz. So here's the thing. This is a PDF. I made it as big as I possibly can, so bear with me, and I'm going to use my words, okay, and keep this up here, but keep in mind, you could find this very easily. If you guys wanted to follow along with me, open up another tab. You could actually go ahead and jump right into the home buyer and home sellers profile for 2020, okay? So it tells you about the leadership team. Ha, 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 ha. Really, really happy couple there, okay? Absolutely, excellent, fantastic. So let's look at the contents that they have here. And this shows you how much stuff is actually in here. They talk about, and I really like the highlights. I like the highlights in it. But they talk about the characteristics of home buyers, homes purchased, the home search process, okay? Home buying and real estate professionals, like how many use real estate professionals? Like how common was that? So you have a seller who's going to want to sell for sale by owner. Right? What's that? Dirty word? Okay. Don't bring that dirty word into my webinar. For sale by owner. Someone's going to sell for sale by owner. And it's like, well, why should I work with a real estate professional? Well, Mr. Seller, it's funny that you should work with, it's funny you asked that because let me tell you, last year, do you know, so this is how I usually pose it to my clients. I say, do you know how many buyers actually purchased a home last year according to the National Association of Realtors? How many people purchased with a realtor? Well, I don't know. Well, it's funny, the amount of people that purchased a home with a realtor were blank percent. You would find that in chapter 4, okay? And guess what? You would be able to rattle that off. And that's a great statistic to have at your arsenal because guess what? That really kind of shuts them up. It's like, oh, so bottom line is, as a for sale by owner, you're not getting exposure to all those potential buyers who do not feel comfortable going at it on their own. Okay, so that's the situation there. So let's look at the next thing. Let's keep going. Let's keep moving and grooving. So they talk about a lot of things that were going on. So they're talking about basically in the introduction, they're talking a lot about lockdowns last year. Okay, so all this kind of stuff, profile of home buyers and sellers. Okay. Good morning, everyone from Los Angeles. Well, hello there, Los Angeles. Let's go into the highlights of the home buyers and sellers. And here's what I want to do. I want to go into some of these percentages so that you actually know about this. And what I want you to do, guys, is I want you to tell me what you think. What you think about this statistic. What is it telling us? So let's look at this one. First-time buyers made up 31% of all home buyers, a dip from last year's 33%, okay? Wowzers, that's a 2% dip, and first-time buyers only made up 31% of the market. That's less than a third. Who's surprised by that number? Who's surprised by that number, okay? Who's surprised that only 31% of all homes bought were first-time buyers? So what is that telling us? What I want you to do in the chat is I want you to tell me what you think 31% of all homes were first-time home buyers, and that's actually a 2% dip. And here's the thing. 2% dip is actually pretty significant when we're talking about the entire United States of America, okay? When we're talking about the United States of America, 2% is big, okay? So, situation is this. That means that there's a lot of people who are doing what? Who are buying second, third, fourth, fifth homes, okay? So, that's what happens. There's a lot of people who are moving up, and especially last year, with everyone being kind of in quasi-lockdown, okay? Everyone being in quasi-lockdown, what happened was this. It basically got to a situation where people started noticing, like, all the flaws in their homes, and they were like, oh, I don't like this, okay? So what happens is this. A lot of the people who are in homes, okay, who own a home, were making decisions to move last year, okay? They were making the decision to move last year. So let's take a look at some other statistics too, okay? So 91% of recent home buyers identified as heterosexual, 3% is gay or lesbian, 1% is bisexual, and 5% preferred not to answer, okay? So they're adding that one in there. So if you have a situation where you're trying to get some more information in regards to that, someone's asking you questions, there's a lot of stuff. And that's why I kind of just go through like a litany of, like I said, the highlights of this, okay? So let's see. This one is really interesting, okay? 12% of home buyers purchased a multi-generational home, the same as last year, to take care of aging parents because of children over the age of 18 moving back home for cost savings. So a lot of people. So here's the thing. There's a big impact here. So what does this statistic tell you? What do you guys think that is? What do you think? What do you think is some of the reasons why 12% of home buyers are purchasing multi-generational homes? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to chat with you about that for a little bit because, again, this is just me having a chit-chat with you guys. It's just a little something different from what we usually do. So what happens is this. 12% of home buyers purchasing multi-generational homes, okay? That means that there's a lot of people, okay? There's a lot of people who are moving back to their home, okay, to save money. A lot of reasons for that. The cost of secondary education, okay. So someone said there, loss of jobs. Yeah, definitely, especially last year, definitely. And what happens is this. That's why if you combine that, okay, that information there with 31% of all homes purchased were first-time buyers, and there was a 2% dip. Basically, bottom line is what these people are doing is their families are buying multi-generational homes, and the children are staying in them, right? The children are staying in them. College and higher education, very expensive. And then when you have the unemployment rates skyrocketing, basically artificially, right? Because bottom line is this, the economy going A-okay until, we had the pandemic, right? So basically what happens is you have a global pandemic that slams the economy like that. There's going to be some impacts. And that's why, especially a year like this, this is the situation where you're going to see a lot of people putting in information that is really, that's why, let me slow down for a second. That's why I like looking at this, especially in the year that we're coming off of, and that's really what I'm kind of getting into. I thought that this was a fun thing for us to kind of look at and for me to introduce you to, because I think this is super important, especially coming off of the year that we did. Okay. So, Brielle said, yeah, there's a large portion of people who are working from home. So guess what, Brielle, that statement could kind of couple really well with, the dip in the first-time home buyers, right? So basically what happens is this. If you have a dip in the first-time home buyers, that means that it's being taken up in the market by people who are buying, their second, third, fourth home, right? So what happens is they're probably doing that. And I'm going to tell you because I've spoken a lot about this. The reason that's happening is when you're stuck in your house, okay, you realize you realize how important your house is, okay? And that's also why a lot of people is going to be are going to be looking at, changing where they live or looking to move, okay? So that's one of the situations. And also too, with the advent of work from home, that has really sparked a big exodus out of some of the more major metropolitan areas, right? So you see places like New York City. So like if you're looking in as an overall, okay, and this is not going to talk about the geographics, but I'm talking to you just from the research that I'm doing. Obviously, big metropolitan areas like New York City. Bottom line is this: people, if they're working from home, okay, if they're working from home, what happens is, do I need to be close to New York City? Not really, not entirely. That was one of the draws for, being near an urban area, right? So the metropolitan area. So what happened was now there's exoduses out of paying those high prices and going to a more affordable area. If there's Wi-Fi, WeWills works, okay? So that's the situation there, okay? Now, this one was interesting, okay? The typical buyer was 47 years old this year, holding steady from last year, and the median household income for 2019 rose again this year, okay, to 96,500, okay? Someone said, Windy Friday from Great Falls, Virginia. Love your seminars. New agent school team. Joe, Stu, our rock stars. Oh yes, we are rock stars. That's why we try to do stuff like this. Roland said Zoom towns. Yeah, absolutely. You have a lot of stuff there. And what I'm going to tell you is this. This was an interesting statistic for me to look at, right? This was a really interesting one. The typical buyer was 47 years old. Holy Toledo's, Batman. Okay? Holy Toledo's. What do you think that's telling you? Talk to me about what you think that's telling you. Interact with me. Tell me what you think that's telling you about the home buying process in 2020. What happened there? And I see a bunch of people chiming in. Diana, who's a regular. People are moving into Utah from California like crazy. Yeah, I mean, because again, you have people living in more metropolitan areas, and they do it to be geographically close to places. But when you say geography is not important anymore, well, hey now, that opens up a whole litany of places, okay? So Debbie said younger people were afraid of risk. Well, what happens is this. I think that you see a lot more people renting. I think that that's something that's more common, and I think also the multi-generational homes. Okay, that's another trend here. And here's the thing: these are hard. So, like, what's really cool about this is these are hard statistics. Okay, these are hard statistics that are going to give you information about that you could, again, basically get to a point where you can have an intelligent conversation. I love looking at this stuff because, like I said, if you want to know how you, as a new agent, sound intelligente, okay, and that's intelligent for non-Spanish speaking people, okay, what happens is you take a look at this. Now, I love looking at the home search process, okay? The home search process is one of those that I will always talk about, okay? This one is one that I always say is a fantastic one. The share of home buyers who use the internet to search for a home increased to an all-time high of 97%. Give me a big old smile, okay? Give me a big old smile if you're like, wow, that's crazy. Give me a whoa face, okay? So, tell me what you think there. So, a lot of you guys are saying renting is throwing away money. And here's the thing, I'll tell you this, because I love you guys, because I think that it's important to understand how things work, what things are, what my opinion is. I think that real estate is a great investment. Everyone should own real estate. I think that real estate is one of the best investments you could make. I also think that if you have a chunk of change, you probably shouldn't put a big chunk of change into real estate. People who are, so listen to this. This is what I'm going to tell you. This is what I'm going to tell you guys. People who have money, okay? We're talking Scrooge McDuck money, okay? If you have Scrooge McDuck money and you could go buy a house or invest in stocks, bonds, shares, stuff like that, the better option would be, well, let me leverage my credit so that I could buy the home with a loan and then take my money and invest it in something else. You make your money work for you, okay? You make your money work for you as you leverage loans, okay? That is going to be something that investors, like I said, people who have Scrooge McDuck money, that's what they do. I remember someone that I worked with who had a lot of money, who had what I would refer to as Scrooge McDuck money, said to me, why would I take my money out of other investments to invest in a home or to invest in a car, invest into this stuff when I could just use a loan to buy it? He said, if I could use a loan or a credit card to buy it, I'm going to do that and let my money work for me and then pay everything off with my investments that are returning to me, the return on my investments. So that's basically it, okay? That's the situation there. Does that make sense? And like I said, I'm a big proponent. I have a very nice real estate portfolio. I like investing in real estate. I have a stock portfolio. I believe in investing. But if it were up to me, I would probably own several homes, rent them out, and probably then live in a rental. That's what I would be doing. But that is the situation there. So let's look. So 97% of people started their home search online. Jennifer Ring said Dave Ramsey would disagree with you. Dave Ramsey. You tell that Dave Ramsey guy, whoever he is. No, I'm kidding. So here's what I'm going to tell you. I disagree with some of Dave Ramsey's teachings. He's a little old school for me. Because also too, what I'm telling you, like what I'm telling you as far as like investment stuff, I'm telling you what investors who have a boatload of money do, right? Dave Ramsey is one. See, and also you have to understand Dave Ramsey's audience, okay? And for those of you who don't know who Dave Ramsey is, he's basically a financial pundit who's been like on like AM radio for like 892 years, and he has some very, so listen to this. If you're the average middle class person, okay, what happens is this. He talks a lot of common sense stuff to get you out of debt. And then once you have the Scrooge McDuck money, basically all the things that he says, you're just basically like, no. He is, like I said, if you've done stupid stuff during your teen years, okay, and then you listen to Dave Ramsey, you can get out of debt, because like I said, it's a very conservative, old school way of thinking, okay? Like my 70-year-old father reads Dave Ramsey when he's sitting on the throne, when he's in his palatial estates of his bathroom, he'll sit there and he'll have a Dave Ramsey book open. And my old man will say to me, Dave Ramsey told me that I shouldn't have credit cards. So my dad literally walks around with like a wad of cash. Like that's how my dad lives his life. Oh, good old Mr. Stu Jacobson Sr. Love it. But that's what I think of when I think of Dave Ramsey. And like I said, that was my slight digression on that. But that's why I had this. I was kind of excited to do this little fireside chat with you guys so that, I basically have a situation where I just wanted to kind of go off the cuff with you guys a little bit. So here's another one. You ready? 91%, okay? 91% of recent buyers found a real estate agent to be very or somewhat useful information source. Holy Toledo's. So here's the thing, 91%. That means that listen, 91%. Let me let you know this. I get a 91 on a test in high school. What I will tell you is this, okay? What I will tell you is this. I got a 91 on a test in high school, okay? This is what I will tell you, okay? I got like an A plus 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 plus. So 91% is 100% to me. Okay. Some people are throwing out some statistics for. So someone said, Mike said, I don't want to be somewhat useful. So here's what I'm going to tell you. It really depends because most of us are independent contractors. I will tell you, somewhat useful is still in the age of the internet to be somewhat useful. I would take being somewhat useful over a lot of other things, okay? So, 91% of people, okay, who bought a home found their real estate agent to be very or somewhat useful. So basically like average or above. They did what they needed to do. And P&J Money Business said, Stu, in Northern California, you pay $1,800 to $2,500 rent a one-bedroom. In some not so great areas, for better areas, $2,500 to $3,000 for 0 to 1 bedroom. I lean on owning. Yeah, it really it depends. I'm giving you blanket statements, right? I'm giving you blanket statements. It's a great. I think it's a great percentage. 91% of people. So like, there's only 9% of people who are like, that person was a quack. That person was a useless nincompoop. They put nincompoop on the paper, okay? So that is the situation there. Nincompoop. So only 9% of people to go in there. I mean, that is a fantastic track record, okay? So then let's take a look at this. I'm going to tell you a statistic that I actually find to be interesting, and this is why. Because I really want you to start to understand this and start to understand how you're going to be marketing yourself in the future and why social media and the TikTokies is important and Instagrams and the tweeters, okay? All these things are super important. And guess what? Also, getting familiar with and kind of getting used to speaking like this, being able to just kind of on the fly get on a camera and get on a Zoom is important because guess what? When asked where their internet searches were conducted, homebuyers were split. They typically conducted 50% of their search on a desktop and 50% on a mobile device. So half of the time, when that 97% of people who were using the internet, half of the time, they were on a mobile device. They were on a screen that was 6 inches, okay? So you got to figure out how you get in front of them, how you position yourself. And guess what? Joe has some fantastic ways. We talk about Facebook groups, and that's why, guys, dig through some of our past webinars and also some of our future webinars that we're going to be having on the Agent School site. So again, what I'm going to tell you is this. If you haven't already, hit the like button, hit that subscribe button, because we do need your support. That is extremely important. And also keep in mind, these webinars, these things, what I'm going to tell you is this. These webinars, these things, I want you to share with your real estate community because don't keep us a secret. Listen to me. I bet you remember that Dirty Dancing movie back in the day, right? You can't put baby in the corner. You can't put Stu in the corner. So don't keep me a secret. Send me out. What I want you to do is I want to make sure that when you see me on these Agent School webinars, I want you to share that with your folks. Guess what? You're going to have, so my Facebook page, like the people I work with a percentage of, because I network. I work with a percentage of business people. I work within my community. I work within, across the country. Okay. So that's the situation there. I work all over the place. And what happens is whenever I go live, guess what? Okay. Guess what? I will tell you this, bottom line, I send out all my webinars to people. And do you know how many people come in here? I actually probably have some of my friends and family in here right now, just coming in here talking to me, So Cynthia said, Instagram is good, but it can be scattered. Let me tell you this, okay? let me tell you this. Instagram is where it's at. I'm not a good grammer, okay? I'm not a good Instagrammer, but I'm going to tell you, in 5 to 6 years, it's going to be Instagram, TikTok. It's going to be YouTube. They're actually doing YouTube Shorts now, which are basically YouTube TikToks. Okay, that's like the new jam. So when these, okay, here's the thing, when these kids who are in college, high school right now, that do Instagram only, do all these things, when they're coming up and they start turning 30, they start turning 25, okay, what happens is this, okay, it's going to be a situation where they're going to get into a situation where, bottom line, if you're not a TikTok realtor, okay, if you're not a YouTube Shorts realtor, okay, like they're not going to know who you are, okay? One of my top agents in the area that I work in, guess what? He's 24. He's got the look. He's got that pizzazz. He's wearing a 3-piece suit. He's rocking it, okay? And I'll tell you this, he's an Instagram realtor. He goes to Hawaii. He opened up a brokerage in Hawaii. He did a whole bunch of things, okay? Guy's a trailblazer, and guess what? You know what happens is everyone starts liking him, and then everyone who's in their 20s, 30s, and everything starts following him, and he's selling homes left and right to these people's parents because they're asking their kids, hey, who's a good realtor to use? And guess what? They're recommending to the 47-year-old, okay, all these different things. So that's why I say to you guys, start getting familiar with this. And also, too, guess what? When I first started with YouTube and I first started doing this, yeah, I'm going to let you in on a little secret. Stu wasn't this good, okay? Stu wasn't this engaging. Guess what? I challenge you guys. For those of you who are Prep Agent Premium members, I challenge you guys to go find some of my earliest webinars with Prep Agent and see where I've progressed. See the progression of Stu. Guess what? Watch 5 to 10 minutes of one of my first webinars and then watch one of my webinars now, and you'll see I've rose to the kingdom, and I still got growth to do. I still got growing to do. So what I'm going to tell you is this. You guys want to start getting out there and just doing it more and more and more. Like the just me coming on here, getting on YouTube with you guys and having something to talk about. Guess what? I knew a rough idea as to what I wanted to talk to you guys about, but what I'm going to say to you is I didn't have it fully outlined because this was stuff that I wanted to see how the conversation developed, and I got better at kind of talking to you guys for a long, extended period of time, okay? So that's why I tell you guys, always start getting familiar with, okay? Familiar with getting yourself out there because that's so important, okay? So let's take a look. Oh, Clubhouse is the new jam. Yeah, guess what? Actually, for those of you guys, I think, I don't want to put him on the spot, but I don't even think he's listening right now, so I'm going to put him on the spot. Clubhouse this Sunday, I think me and Joe are going to be in a room late night Eastern Standard Time, like 10 o'clock Eastern Standard, 7 o'clock Pacific Standard. We're going to be in one of the new agent rooms. So, yeah, I convinced Joe. I said, Joe, get the Clubhouses and let's go into one of the rooms. So that's what we plan on doing. So we're going to go into a Clubhouses, okay, for you iPhone crazy people who know what that is, okay? So let's take a look. I liked looking at some of the characteristics of homes purchased, right? So, this one was one that kind of stuck out to me, okay? Stuck out to me is this. The median distance, okay, between the home that recent buyer purchased and the home they moved from was only 15 miles. 15 miles. Every time I come on, you hear the Lion King track. Is it because I sound like Mufasa or I sound like one of the hyenas? I sound like one of the hyenas. Where they say, I always love, because here's the thing, I don't recognize the new Lion King movie. I only recognize the old one. So I always love the scene where it was Whoopi Goldberg and the hyenas, and they said, Mufasa, whoo, do it again, Mufasa, whoo. That always made me laugh. So, So, let me talk about this. They only moved 15 miles where they came from. So what does that tell you? So here's what that tells me, okay? Here's what that tells me. People are telling me share your invites from Clubhouse. No, I'm stingy with those. I don't do that because too many people ask me and then they're no. Okay, so that's a no. But here's the thing. I'm sure you could find, there's a bunch of people who have them. Okay. Jocelyn said, pass my New Jersey exam. Congrats. That's a hard test. Congrats on that one. But the median distance, okay, the median distance between the home that they recently purchased and where they moved from was 15 miles. People aren't moving a lot of places, okay? People aren't moving very far. So what does that mean? What does that mean for last year? Well, for me, what that's telling me is people realized last year how much they like the area they're in and they don't like the home they're in, okay? They don't like the home that they're in because a lot of people that were basically in a situation where they're now stuck inside the house, okay? So people are just basically, David Ortega said it. They're telling us that they are looking to stay local and they're just upgrading. Bam. Don't like our house. Okay. Don't like our house. Okay. And what I'll tell you is this. Kyle asked us realty specific question. What I'm going to tell you is next week I'm going to be doing how to choose a broker. Pew, 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 pew. So that's a really hot topic. So you guys, I'm going to basically let you guys know that I'm going to be doing that next week. So keep an eye on that. If you have any broker specific questions, stuff like that. Okay. And I try to steer away from the broker specific stuff, but I will give you a couple of my thoughts, my things, my burning desires as far as that's concerned. Okay. So what I'll tell you is this. So yeah, you guys always love when I do the how to choose a broker one, because I always give you guys a little bit of advice. And what I want to tell you for this is if you haven't chosen a broker yet, okay, or you're in the process of doing that, what I want you to do for next week's webinar, okay, I want you guys to come up with your goals. What are your goals? And your goals have to be specific. You have to have specific goals. If you don't have specific goals, you're gonna have a problem, okay? Because Stu's gonna ask that of you. So I'm giving you homework, okay? So Jocelyn said, "What now after passing?" Okay. You wait for my webinar on Friday. So, got to start talking about brokers. So you got to start talking about goals, brokers, things like that. So, yeah, guys, what I want to do is this. I want to wrap up over here and just kind of let you know that this is an amazing resource for you. Now, I only went through like the highlights, but they go into a lot of the other highlights in here, and you can get a more in-depth where they actually go through the methodology and all that kind of stuff. So I really do suggest that you guys take a look at this. It's over on NAR. So if you just Google NAR home buyer and seller profile for 2020, you'll be able to find this. And this is going to be something that is going to be absolutely amazing. Okay. Absolutely fantastic. Okay. So guys, I hope you like this one. And remember, we do have our schedule coming out for next week for any real estate exam prep stuff. And also, guess what? Gonna give my call to action one more time. Because you like me, guys, please tell you what, give me a thumbs up in the chat so I know that you guys like me. You liked what we did today. This was a little different, a little bit of a fireside chat. Okay, so thank you for coming along. Thank you for sticking with me. Keep in mind, we do have a whole bunch of other webinars that you can watch, historical documents of all the webinars that we have on the Agent School site. We have more coming. Next week. Some really fun ones. Okay. So guys, what I want to tell you is this, keep an eye out for that. Hit that like button, hit subscribe, because that helps me out. Okay. And of course, if you want to get the hashtag, trending, hashtag Joe gives Stu a raise. I think someone put it in the Facebook group one day, and I was like, I support this hashtag. Okay. I usually don't support the hashtags and the hash browns, but I definitely do support that one. So guys, I hope you had a little bit of fun to me. I hope you learned something today about this document that's out there. And I really do implore that you guys actually go seek it out, because it's really super easy to find. Go on Google, NAR profile of home buyers and sellers, and take a deep dive in this. Get a little hot cocoa if you're in a cold area, or get yourself maybe a nice little glass of wine and sit down by the fireplace and just sit there and just go at it. All right, guys, I really want you to dive into this because I think there's a lot of great stuff. Okay, hashtag give Stu a raise. Absolutely, get it trending. So guys, have a great one. We're gonna see you real soon. Okay.